Hello, guys.
Hey
Welcome
guys,
to Married&Young.
this is our second episode. I'm so excited. I'm literally still reeling from the first one. My energies are high, so yeah, I'm glad we're doing this again.
Me too. On this episode, we're gonna be discussing why did we get married, some of the things that we've learned.
During our marriage, yes, absolutely. We're asking the question, why did I get married? Why did we get married? I'm sure you ask yourself all the time, why did I get married? Why did I get married to this man, this woman? Why did I get married? Why did I decide to leave the dating world and make this person my life partner? Why did you do that, babe? Why did you choose me?
Okay, so for me, um, I mean, straight after matric, I'm an entrepreneur, so I was in pursuit of my entrepreneurship, and I was in pursuit of my career, as it will, and literally, I was trying to figure out how I can find stability, right? How I can find stability in a sense of like, how do I grow from the level that I was at that time, which was I was 17 years old. How I can grow from there to be person that I aspired to be like. Then one of the things that I always had on my bucket list was I really need to find my soulmate. Okay, I know the way I. A lot of people disagree with this because of when I was studying, when I was a student. It didn't seem like I'm the type to settle down. In fact, I've been in a lot of relationships where it was like, dude, you have commitment issues,
Yeah, you'd be
you
the
know?
last person we'd expect to settle down.
Yeah, exactly. So it came as a shock to a lot of people, I'm sure, when they found out that, especially when I introduced them to my now wife at the time. But it's literally, I was looking for stability. I knew I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be committed to one person. I didn't want dating. Jolo is rough, guys. So I wanted to, I wanted to find someone who's a partner that I can grow with spiritually, that I can grow with in every aspect of my life. And I knew that I can't do that with a lot of people or with a lot of women. Okay, so I had to find one person. And how I went about doing it, that's another interesting story because sometimes you just know. Sometimes you know, and by that I mean, it's,
By the way, Daniel.
that's our little baby Daniel. And I'm always telling them the story of how I met my wife, so he's always listening. So, in my search to find my wife, I actually realized that not only did I need stability, but I also needed a clear path, you know, a clear path to be able to open me up to other challenges and to other growth aspects that can actually lead me to achieving my goals and dreams and to becoming who I knew. Because this is what I believe, right? I believe you become two people in your lifetime. The first one starts off at age 0 to maybe age 18 or age 20, and then or maybe even 30, depending on the time when you decide I have to be the next person that I want to be in this life. So
Yeah.
when that happened, I knew that when that transition happens, I have to not be still in the umjolo business. I have to be more stable. I have to have a family. I have to have a structure because of the things that I wanted to do and achieve. So I'd been speaking to my wife on social media because we shared the same enthusiasm as far as traveling. So
Yeah, that's weird,
we'd
isn't it?
connect on
Yeah.
Facebook and we connect and we just talk about, comment on each other's walls about traveling and whatever
Mm.
because we really love that. But I could sense, man, like, at the time she didn't even have
I was
profile
so
pictures,
private
and
on my
yeah, she was
social
very
media, it wasn't
private.
even real.
Whereas with me, I was, I did put my picture up, but I was also trying to almost hide myself in a way. And that's exactly what she was doing also. So, but I could feel there was a connection here. But every time when we would stop talking, would reconnect back somehow, would
Yeah, like
reconnect back, and I wouldn't
after some
understand.
months.
Yes, after some months, and it would be like, "Oh, where have you been? I've been looking for you. I wanted to talk to you," because of the conversations that we're having. We're having conversations about what is happening in our lives, our families,
Mm.
and everything, even though we hadn't met yet.
Yeah, true.
So when we decided, okay, there was a time in 2014 when the reconnection was supposed to happen, and then she left. She left
Oh yeah,
and
I was
went out
on
of the
my way
country.
to China.
Yes,
So I was in China for a year, and I fully immersed myself in that experience. China was just home for me. It was just absolutely amazing. But I guess what David is trying to say that for someone on the outside looking in or listening in, this would probably sound like a too good to be true marriage story. And I kid you not, like it may sound too good to be true, but this is genuine, this is honest. It's from a good and pure place.
yes,
And so if you are I would like to believe, I'm a very spiritual person, so is my husband. But I believe that our relationship is tied in a spiritual sense. Not to say that we've gone to see some um, like Sangoma or some person to say, no, please help me find my true love. Not in that sense. But because we've prayed for each other, and because so many people that have seen us could see like this supernatural glow, the supernatural bond. And I truly believe that we are twin souls, we are soul ties, we have been together through different lifetimes together. And it's true, there's people that
and
have,
we have tested this. By
yeah,
the
we've
way, we've
tested it.
we've went on a venture to try and discover how far this thing goes, because it was such a supernatural experience for both of us that we had to understand more,
Yeah,
deeper, and understand like
exactly.
how did it come to be. But now, as I was saying, so sorry, my love. In 2014, then she went to China, and then when she came back, I was like, "There's no way I have to meet this person." It's been so many years. It's literally been 5 years. We hadn't met yet. Just now we separated again, because at the time I had also communicated there was an opportunity to go outside uh, of South Africa again, literally to do some work overseas or whatever. So I had to figure out a way for us to meet before that happens, because I had to be sure. I had to be sure. And when I got another offer, it started freaking me out. So when she came back, we decided, let's meet up. Like literally just meet up. But I think we already knew, man. We already
Yeah.
knew this is it, because at the day that we met up, we went for a picnic, we did all of that, and we were just talking, and it was like, oh my word. It
Yeah,
was like,
everything just started making sense and
yeah,
falling into place. Yeah,
it
so
was like running into yourself.
yourself. Yeah.
You know, it was as if we knew each other for lifetimes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, okay. And ever since then, obviously, we dated. You know, we dated. We went
For a
on
few
date
months
nights, and then we decided to
to
move in
get
together.
married. Yeah.
And then after we moved in together, after a year or two, we decided to get married. So, but yeah, that's my side of how this whole thing happened. But since then, I can promise you, like, my maturity level has accelerated. It's not only to say, it has accelerated because I got married,
Married. Yeah.
but because of who I became. That next person that I just shared
And
now
there's a certain
is who I
degree of
became.
wisdom and maturity that comes with being married. That's why choosing your life partner and deciding to get married it's so important, because the person that you choose to get married to, I believe, decides the rest of your life basically. So if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, then hey, look, there's nothing wrong with deciding to get married. But I do believe it needs to be something that you really, really want, and not just because you want to get married because of, I want to
It's
have a
cool.
diamond ring on my finger, or because it's cool.
Uh,
Being married comes with a lot, and I do believe that you need to be prepared for it. You need to understand the concept of marriage, why it's there, what is its functions, and who you are and how you're supposed to operate under that covenant. So,
My love, can you
yeah.
share your like what was happening in your life and years leading up to meeting?
um, it's gonna sound like such a soppy story. You know, for me, guys, if you ask my husband, like for me, everything in my life comes from, I argue from a point of spirituality because I'm such a spiritual person. So, I was more of a home baby. I was more of the sheltered person. So, I was a very sheltered, very homey person, right? I wasn't somebody that was really interested in experiencing the outside life. Um, even though now that I'm as old as I am, I constantly tell my husband that I feel like I'm caught in between the natural world and the supernatural, and it's always like I'm trying to find where do I truly belong. So it's a constant battle, I can't tell you. So I was actually working at the time, and so I was still going through a phase of trying to find myself, understand myself, who I am, what it is that I want out of life, etc., etc. And so, but I always felt spiritually inclined to everything, right? In a sense that even if life didn't make sense in a natural aspect spiritually, it always felt like it was aligning. So, and so please don't get me wrong, I'm not a religious person, I'm a very spiritual person. There's a thin line between the two. So I was, being the person that I am, I'm always spiritually led through everything, whether it comes to decisions, my life partner, my kids, my career. Every avenue of my life is divinely led. And so I purely believe that my husband was sent for me. And even now to this day, I can attest to that. I constantly thank God and um, for the fact that he's here and they sent him, and I understand why he is here. And so, for me, being married, as I said, if you had listened to our previous podcast, it's something that I really love. It's something that I've aspired to, even though I was very ignorant to some things that, in the beginning, I didn't know that comes with being married. I just thought, oh, I found my Boaz, and now we're gonna have the white picket fence and two kids, and we're just gonna sing Kumbaya, not knowing that there's a lot of other elements that come with it, right? So anyway, when I when when David was talking about the experience that we had about trying to find each other, mind you, what he was experiencing is exactly the same thing that I was feeling. I felt like I know this guy, I just know this person, even though I've never met him before. I really feel like I know him. And so it was just a matter of time until we decided to really meet in person. And like I said, once we did, everything just fell into place, everything just made sense. And so I don't regret any decision that I've made. I don't have any regrets.
Yeah, same here.
um, I absolutely, now that I'm looking back, I can actually see God's hand through everything, even the smallest detail. Things you take for granted, things you see, things you are aware of, it's supposed to happen. So yeah, almost 8 years later, we're parents of two boys. Um, One is almost 5, Daniel is almost 2, and yeah, we couldn't be happier. Not to say that we're not exempt from challenges, from trials, and going through difficult times. We absolutely do go through them. It tests our marriage, it tests our relationship.
All the time.
And there are moments where we don't agree, there are moments that we don't like each other, but um,
We love each other.
yes, we love each other, absolutely. And so it tests our character, it tests so many elements of who we are, the human element, the spiritual side, and it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's worth
Yeah.
it when you have the right partner. It's worth it when you have the values in place, a solid foundation in place. It
Yeah.
really is worth it.
And to the men, guys, I actually discovered something a couple of years back. So lucky for me, I discovered it very early on, that women have to be satisfied all the time. Okay, like it's easy to look at it and be like, yeah, but you can't do it all the time. You have to do it all the time because it's in doing it all the time that you know how they say a happy wife, a happy home. That's very true.
Happy wife, happy life.
It's yeah, they hold power that's beyond. I mean, for me, for example, I don't know if it went for my wife, I would have grown spiritually the way I've grown now. Like there's certain aspects of my life that I'm tapping into just because she's here. And there's when a woman prays, guys, I'm telling you, there's some of the things that I've overcame personally that I don't know how I would have overcame, but I'm aware that you know I was praying, but also she was praying. So make sure you love your partner all the time. Make sure you respect her all the time. Make sure that when it comes to different generational barriers, things that are habits, things that you have learned based on, because unfortunately you can only come into a marriage or into a partnership of this sort based on what you've been exposed to before.
Absolutely.
But you have at some point you have to break those because sometimes they make you believe something else. So by that I mean, um, if let's say for example in a situation where I'm not saying this is what we went through, but we see this all the time. Luckily we are blessed, we um, uh, her parents adore me, my parents adore her. So, but it was a work in progress.
Progress,
But for someone
absolutely.
else who'd experience differently, like
Yeah.
in a situation where there's
Issues with
hatred or
in-laws,
whatever,
yeah.
it's always important to break away from that based
Yeah.
on how sacred your marriage is,
Mm.
because the pureness of the marriage will always disrupt what seems to be, and also sometimes I suppose you can see that most parents, they try to live through their kids, and then they try to instill their beliefs in their kids, and then that filters through to their own marriages and their own families.
Yeah.
So be sure that you stick with your wife no matter what, because you see with me, even if the kids were to tell me or were to say you should do this or do that, because kids are a blessing from God. They're brilliant. Mine, I think, are extra brilliant because they have a way of getting me to do things or getting her to do things that we know it's not
Yeah.
it's not how it's supposed to go. So basically what I'm saying is kids are manipulative. So you have to stick together and you have to listen to your wife. I find myself now saying listen to your mother and then just diffusing that situation based on that, because if one of them asks, Ma, I want ice cream, and she says no, and then they come to me and then I say yes, it causes a whole lot of confusion. So make sure your wife is always happy. Make sure you listen to her. Make sure you stay away from things that you know are going to disrupt what you're trying to do, and always lead her, obviously. But also make sure that everybody else in your life, be it your family, be it anyone else, be it your kids, they understand that's how it is, so that they don't
Yeah.
disrespect her or they don't do things that would hurt her in a way.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you actually moved on to that tangent because that's another topic I'd like for us to talk about. But I think we should cover it in the next episode. So we're gonna leave it here. I think let's carry on to our next episode. You guys will get the extended version of this conversation because obviously this is not where the buck stops. There's more to talk about. There's more to share, and obviously we'd love to hear from you. Share your comments or subscribe to our channel or let us know on our Facebook page or on our Instagram page. It's Married and Young SA. You can follow us on our personal handles on Instagram at David Sikosana, at Sasha Sikosana. That was a mouthful. But yeah, let's carry on our next episode of this conversation, and we'd love to hear from you. We love your interactions. We'd love to hear from you what you have to say, what you think, what are your thoughts, and yeah,
Love
this
you
is
guys.
fun.
We love you guys.
Yeah, much love,
Chat in the next episode.
Married and Young.
Maybe.